You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the December 6, 2023 meeting of the Michigan City Parks and Recreation Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening and welcome to the Michigan City Park Board meeting for December 6th. Can you please join me on the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Shannon, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Latchford?
Here.
Mr. Freeze?
Here.
Mr. Glidden?
Here.
Mrs. Sperling? Here.
Right, the minutes from our November 15th meeting were prepared and presented prior to the meetings and give it enough chance to review. So unless there are any corrections or edits, do you have a motion to approve the minutes?
I would move it approve the minutes as printed.
Seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Any project updates tonight?
No, sir.
Right, old business. Our last meeting, we sent out bids for numerous items for next year. And now we'll accept the bids and review them, starting with the park concession lease.
Is there anyone here that would like to submit a bid for the Patriot Park concession lease? Okay, we did not receive any bids for the concession lease, so I would ask the park board for permission to rebid this. I did include it in your packet, the number of businesses that it was sent to, and it's quite extensive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there were 17 local businesses in the food industry that the bid packet was sent to. It was also advertised in the newspaper twice and on Facebook. And I will remind the board, the last time we bid this out in 2021, the same thing happened. We had no responses in the first go round. So I think it would probably be wise to bid this after the holidays so it doesn't get lost. I'm trying to think of like a date that it could go out. If the board would just approve rebidding this, let's say January 15th, using the same exact bid specs, unless you have any other suggestions for
Thank you, Shannon.
soliciting bids.
Questions or comments?
Not surprising, we had so many, but yeah, we didn't have any last year. I mean, we do have time at Patriot Park doesn't open for a while.
Do you think there would be any interest in food trucks? Any that you know of, any businesses that?
So yes, I did have a couple of businesses, but they were on the bid list, and let them know that that's an option. They don't need to use our concession stand.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's better to table this. My thought is, we suggested a monthly lease fee, and maybe that's too high. So maybe table it and I'll bring a recommendation back on the 20th. Let me give it a little more thought.
What was the monthly lease fee?
So from 2021 to 2023, it was $400 per month, which is extremely low to what we were getting in lease fees prior to that. Part of it was because it was, right after the pandemic, our sports leagues had fallen off. We didn't know what to expect, and we didn't get any bids the first go round. So one person bid on it. They gave us a low ball offer, but just to have the service, the board accepted that. But this bid is pre-COVID, using the numbers that we used to get, which were more between like $650 and $900 a month over the last 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe,
Well, and then if they're using their own food truck instead of our building, they're basically supplying that.
So yeah, maybe it'd be best to just table it tonight, and then if you guys want to go back and review the bid packet and email me any suggestions you have, and I'll bring something back to the board on December 20th.
Any other questions or comments?
Shannon, do you want this tabled till the 20th of January or just tabled indefinitely?
I think to December 20th, I'll bring back the
December
revised
20th, okay.
bid notice and bid packet.
I would move that we table the
Second.
Patriot Park concession operation till December 20th.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
All right, next we have the Water Tower Park renovation project. Anyone here that would like to submit a bid? All right, we'll consider we'll close the submission period. Did we get any quotes for this?
Yes, we did. So the first bid was received today at 10:59 a.m. from Reed Riley. Total base bid for the project is $1,206,865. Alternate 1 pickleball court, $77,550. Alternate 2 drinking fountain, $32,950. Alternate 3 concrete speed table, $56,315. Alternate 4 temporary speed table, $22,910. Modular pickleball court, $142,830. And a modular basketball court system, it's $124,900.
Thank you, Shannon.
There's 2 more. Second bid was received today at 4:07 p.m. from Holiday Construction Group. With a base bid of $960,000, alternate 1, I'm not going to read the titles of these again. Alternate 1, $80,300. Alternate 2, $8,600. Alternate 3, $17,100. Alternate 4, $13,100. Alternate 5, $125,600. And alternate 6, $67,800. The third bid was received today at 4:28 p.m. from Gary Construction Company with a base bid of $1,183,700. Alternate 1, $100,000 even. Alternate 2, $25,000 even. Alternate 3, $50,000 even. Alternate 4, $20,000 even. Alternate 5, $150,000 even, and alternate 6, $45,000 even. Those were the 3 bids received, and I would ask the board to table these for review until your next review.
Thank you, Shannon. Questions or comments? If none, motion to table till our December 20th meeting.
I would move that we table these 3 bids until January 20th of this year.
Second.
December 20th or January?
December.
December.
Did I say January? I'm sorry. December.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, our next item is the accepting bids for the Millennial Plaza landscaping service. Anyone here to present a bid that hasn't already presented? Seeing none, we'll close the submission period.
And we received 1 bid today from Servicescape at 1:31 p.m. Just to remind the board, the next quotes that we're opening are for a 3-year service agreement. So year one, $25,152.05. Year two, $26,024.40. And year three, $26,452.05. And again, I would ask the board to table this for review. So your next meeting.
Thank you, Shannon.
Welcome.
Unless there are questions or comments, do we have a motion to table?
Move, table the Millennium Plaza landscaping bids to December 20th of this year.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, now we have to accept bids for the pest control services. Anyone here that wants to submit a bid that hasn't previously submitted a bid? Seeing none, we'll close the submission period. Shannon?
Okay, so the first bid received is not marked. It was received today at 8:36 a.m. This is from Hatfield Pest Control with a bid for all of our locations of $565 per month. The second received today as well at 10:01 a.m. from Franklin Pest Solutions. And I'm not sure if they did some of this by month. Because it's quite a bit higher. At one location alone, it's $4,340. So I'm assuming that's annual. So again, I'd ask the board to table this. I'll call the vendor and clarify the amount and bring it back to the next meeting with a recommendation.
Thank you, Shannon. Unless there are questions or comments from the
Board
board.
was just happy to.
Unless there are questions or comments, we have a motion to table.
I would move that we table the 2024 to 2026 pest control services until Shannon can get more information. We'll do it on December 20th.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, now we have accepting bids for the porta pot services. Is there anyone here tonight that wants to submit a bid that hasn't already? Seeing none, we'll close the submission period. Shannon?
Yes, we did receive one bid from Service Sanitation today at 8:56 a.m. Hey, brought my scissor. So their bid per month for events is $460, Michigan City Golf Course, $1,995, Patriot Park, $7,945, Washington Park, $32,235, Playgrounds, $6,285. Again, it asked for a monthly, and based on what we're paying right now, I believe this is an annual for each location. Again, I'd ask you to table for review.
Thank you, Shannon. Unless there are questions or comments, do I have a motion to table?
I would move that we table the 2024 to the 2026 porta pot services for further review and bring it off the table December 20th.
Second it?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, and lastly, we have accepting bids for trash collection services. Is there anyone here to submit a bid that hasn't previously submitted? Seeing none, we'll close the submission period. Shannon?
So we received one from Republic Services, received today at 1:42 p.m. I think the sealed bid thing literally.
On your Swiss knife.
Where's the switchblade I bought you for Christmas?
These are by location and it's per pickup. So Patriot Park, $53.81. Second one at Patriot Park, $40.42. Washington Park Zoo, $40.42. Memorial Hall, $26.79. Michigan City Senior Center, $14.54. Golf course is $29.79. And the second one at the golf course is $20.09. And these are picked up typically weekly during the season. Again, I asked, oh, sorry.
Yeah, was that per week or per month? The cost, that's per week.
For each dumpster, they pick up there's a weekly fee.
Yeah.
And that kind of varies through the season. There's times that we need an additional pickup. And the final is not marked. It was received today at 4:11 p.m. From Waste Management. And our quote form not appear to be in their package. So again, I would ask you to table these for review until your next meeting.
Unless there are questions or comments, so motion to table.
I'd move we table the 2024 to 2026 trash collection services for further review to December 20th of this year.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Any other tabled business or old business?
No, sir.
Thank you. New business, we'll move on then to the Washington Park 5-year strategic plan.
Yes, the plan was updated by Director Jamie Huss. She is here tonight to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Shannon. Questions or comments? Welcome.
So thank you for having me tonight. Basically, this is the 5-year plan. It's the continuation of the one we submitted back in 2015. It is a living document, so it does change as life changes. It can change due to funding sources coming available, things breaking, restrictions, regulations changing. But just gives us a kind of a guideline document to move us forward and not have to backtrack or have a vision to get changes for the guests, the animals, and the facility itself.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
As usual, Jamie, it's very well done. Thank you.
I would echo those thoughts. I thought it was thorough, thoughtful. It was detailed yet concise. I thought there was appropriate, it didn't leave me wanting to ask a lot of questions because it was well done. I thought the presentation was outstanding too, in terms of organization and adding just enough photos and graphs and sources of funding, and I thought it was very well done.
I will add that the past plans we did in 2015 started with us only doing projects that we had funding for, because we did it based on essential needs. So now we're getting to the point now where we're to the bigger projects that we had to go to hopefully finding more source of funding. So it isn't a typical master plan where you are going to fundraise for the whole project. It has been an ongoing project where we have moved things around and taken consideration of what needs to be done based on the facility structure itself.
I also like the fact you also included certain projects that aren't necessarily large in scope that need to get done at the zoo, various, I guess we call them maintenance CapEx, a roof here, a fence there.
And we try to, I know ones that usually fund a light source or sidewalks, we try to include those with the bigger projects. But we do want to include them on the plan in case you do have a grant that comes through or a donor that it is our vision, our plan to get it done. You just hate things to get forgotten because it isn't on paper and in the forefront.
Well done.
Yeah.
Questions, comments, any others? Questions from the public? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the 2024-2028 Washington Park 5-year strategic plan?
I would move, assuming that we accept 2024 to 2028 strategic plan for Washington Park Zoo.
Second it?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Mr. President, just real quick, I let Jamie get away. I'm sure Shannon can answer this because she talked about grant money possibly coming in. Are you doing all of their grants as well? Do they have somebody that?
No, Jamie writes.
Jamie, right? Okay.
Do, yeah. I mean, we've worked on grants together between Jamie and I. But yeah, the last probably 5 years, she's kind of been out on her own,
Okay.
and doing a great job. I was gonna say, I'm sorry she left. You should announce what you got today. Make it.
That would be great.
Yeah, I'm asking because that's been discussion with the council regarding probably a grant administrator or grant writer or something that, I'm just trying to figure out who does what for all the different departments. I know you do a lot, and I was wondering if you handled for Jamie's, but Jamie's involved as well, so that's good.
No, kind of fun when we do our own grants, you kind of know it the best. So even we get a grant writer, it's kind of nice to have your input in there.
Right.
We just got notice today that we get a grant for, was it $70,000 from the Otto Margaret Trust that will go towards a new freezer because we're trying to buy in bulk to save on shipping costs. So that would house most of our carnivore meat and that kind of stuff. Roof replacement, one of the bids that the specs we went to last meeting will be covered by this grant and for food and medical costs. So that will be coming in for 2024.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
Good news. All right, we'll move on to the local hiring agreement with Milne Enterprises.
Yeah, so this is part of the city ordinance. Any contract that's over $150,000, board governing that contract needs to sign a local hiring agreement with the contractor. And this dictates that they use 50% Michigan City labor. If possible, I will let the board know if it's a union project and say they need 10 electricians and our local union doesn't have 10, they only have 5. We are allowed to get a letter from the union and go outside of that. So it doesn't really shut the project down. I don't see any issues with this. We've worked with them on several jobs. So I've asked that the board approve that today. Construction on the old bandstand is slated to begin the first week of January.
Thank you, Shannon. Questions or comments? Questions from the public? See none, we have a motion to approve the local hiring agreement.
I would move that we accept the local hiring agreement.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, now we have a revision to the personnel policy number 303, sell back vacation.
Yes, so employees in the city are allowed to sell their vacation back up to 2 weeks annually. In the past, they would have to do that by April 1st. Particularly in the park department because of our outdoor operations that we have, in golf and maintenance, and you can't predict snowfall and you can't predict a lot of things. I talked to our human rights director, and it makes more sense to let our employees wait towards the end of the year and then determine, especially long time employees that get 25 days. Then they can determine, can I even use this and get my job done towards the end of the year? If not, they sell it back. But trying to predict that in April doesn't really work. The city likes this idea, and they are going to change their policy as well.
Thank you, Shannon.
You're welcome.
Questions or comments? So how do you budget for this? For example,
So sellback is budgeted at the max for all employees, assuming they will all sell back the 2 weeks.
okay, so if they don't, it ends up being excess.
Correct.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Is there a reason why it's October 1st and not even later than that?
Once we get into November, our city payroll clerk has a lot of different payrolls to process with all the unions and longevity pay, and there's just a lot going on. So the human rights director asked if we could just push this back a couple payrolls, not to
Yeah.
bombard her in November and December.
And it obviously has to be paid out in that calendar year. It can't be paid out in
Yeah,
January.
it has to be paid out by November 30th.
Yeah.
So that's what we changed the policy to.
Mhm.
Any other questions or comments? See none. Any questions from the public? Seeing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
I would move that we accept the revision to personal policy on dealing with selling back vacation time as printed. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
All right, now we're at the portion of the agenda and the time of the year where we have a lot of resolutions moving money around to cover expenses in one department and taking them from another that doesn't need them. So unless there's an objection, like I've done in the past, I'll just read the preamble to the first one and then just read the guts of the resolution for each additional one. Doesn't look like there are any objections, so I'll start with resolution number 1026. And this is the preamble portion I referred to. Whereas the superintendent of the Department of Parks and Recreation has reported that a certain transfer of funds are necessary within the budget of the Michigan City Department of Parks and Recreation because of unanticipated expenses from various accounts, which accounts do not have sufficient funds available for disbursement for said expenses. And whereas there are funds available for said purposes in various other accounts which are not expected to be paid from said accounts during the remainder of the budget of the year, and whereas the Parks and Recreation Board has determined that said expenses are necessary and account transfer should be made in order to meet said expenses, now therefore be resolved that the following transfer be made from the following named accounts to the following named accounts, and for the purposes stated herein. Decrease fund 2204-505, maintenance fund sick buyback 8,700, increase fund 2204-505, maintenance fund, household supplies 500, medical supplies 200, clothing and safety equipment 1,000, Christmas supplies 5,000, and small tools 2,000. Unless there are questions or comments, do you have a motion to approve?
I would move that we adopt resolution number 1026.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? The motion carries.
And Shannon, to your point about this specific resolution 1026, there's money available in the buyback because we didn't spend it all. We can move it to cover other expenses.
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
All right, resolution 1027, decrease fund 2204-504 zoo fund, sick pay buyback 8,614, vacation buyback 10,000, increase fund zoo fund, increase fund 2204-504 zoo fund, charges and fees 8,614, and contractual 10,000. Unless there are questions or comments, we have a motion to approve resolution 1027.
Contractual 10,000, what would that be for?
That's for the emergency furnace installation. I think that was brought up at your last meeting. It was in one of the exhibits. Was it the primate house? So the animals are temperature sensitive, and the furnace was just shot. And that's also for some upcoming roof repairs that they have scheduled over the winter.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would move that we adopt resolution 1027.
Second,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 1028, decrease fund 2204,502, admin fund contractual 700, increase fund 2204,502, admin fund charges and fees 700. Do you have a motion to approve resolution 1028?
I would move to accept resolution number 1028.
Second it?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Resolution 1029, decrease fund 2211, 000, rec fund, non-reverting small tools 366, increase fund 2204,502, admin fund charges and fees 366. Do we have a motion to approve resolution 1029?
Yeah, move we accept resolution 1029.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Resolution 1030, decrease fund 2204,506, senior center vacation buyback $225, increase fund 2204,506, senior center water $75, sewage $50. Do you have a motion to approve resolution 1030?
I would move we accept that resolution 1030.
Second it?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 1031, decrease fund 2204,502, admin fund printing advertising $749, increase fund 2204,502, admin fund charges and fees credit cards $749. Have a motion to approve resolution 1031?
I would move we accept resolution number 1031.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 1032, decrease fund 2507 000, concession fund seasonal wages 1,500, increase fund 2507 000, concession fund small tools 1,500. Unless there are questions or comments, I have a motion to approve resolution 1032.
So move with resolution 1032.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 1033, decrease fund 2508 000, golf fund gasoline 8,100, increase fund 2508 000, golf fund overtime 600, charges credit card fees 7,500. Unless there are questions or comments, do I have a motion to approve resolution 1033?
Pass, move we accept resolution number 1033.
Second it?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Any other new business that we need to attend to?
No, sir.
All right, well, takes us to reports of officers. Mr. Shin, the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome.
A couple days ago, I was asked by the YMCA, the Michigan City Elston branch, if the park department would advertise their co-ed youth volleyball coming up here starting tomorrow, December 7th through December 28th. It's going to be on Thursdays. Youth ages 6 to 10 at 4:30 p.m., ages 11 to 14 at 5:30 p.m. It will cost a member $40 and $60 for a non-member. Keep in mind that's co-ed youth at the YMCA. All you need to bring is gym shoes, shorts, and knee pads, and you will learn the skills from Coach Sam. We're happy to report that. And also at the YMCA, they would like the park department to report Michigan City Elston Branch YMCA adult co-ed volleyball. That will be on Tuesday evenings at 5 p.m. from January 9th to February 27th. Each team can have up to 10 players with 6 playing per night. And keep in mind, that's co-ed, men and women, 18 and over, $300 per team. Each team must have a captain and be responsible for payment, team communication, and registration. So we hope the YMCA has a good event. I would also like to report that on golf, that the golf manager, Marty Neiman, has been busy in the clubhouse winding down the season and will be conducting pro shop inventory in the next couple days. According to Mr. Neiman, we find out when the season closes from the maintenance department, and they're not sure because of the good weather we're going to have in a couple, 3 days, but it's likely that the golf course might close on Saturday. It's been reported to me that golf maintenance is doing a great job on leaf removal, that some golf courses actually have to close because of leaves, but our golf course is set up somehow. They remove the leaves and do a great job. Our superintendent out there is Michael Moore, and happens to find a little bit of time that he can finally be on vacation, but has set a schedule for his assistants to work on cart maintenance. So those 84 carts that you see in the storage are now being maintained. Golf maintenance does an awesome job. Park maintenance. Park maintenance did it again. The holiday lights are spectacular. I hear that everywhere I go. Not just in City Hall, but throughout the town. People really enjoy these lights, and they also did the lights on Franklin Street. The parade was spectacular. And also those staff that did not work on the lights, like janitorial and leaf removal detail, they're the ones that also keep the park maintenance on schedule, which they are so far for this season. I would like to report that the facility projects updates, the golf clubhouse project and the Millennium Fountain project. Just a short update because Mr. Volz and I have contacted engineers and contractors for Millennium Fountain. Mr. Dave Szymanski from the golf community and I have consulted with contractors, and we will get our cost inquiries in sometime next week, and we will be able to report to you at the next meeting. And those are the cost inquiries for the clubhouse project and Millennium Fountain. I would like to report that the NSA, BPA representatives and Jack Arnett from CVB and Rick Wright from CVB are very thankful for all the work that our park maintenance has done out at Patriot Park. They said they had a great season. They're very delighted with the improvements that Mr. Volz and the fence company accomplished out at Patriot Park, and they're very excited about another season out at Patriot. The Senior Center project will be complete by its completion date on the 15th of December, according to Tara Miller, the director out there, who she and I walked through and found some minor little adjustments to end the project, but everything has gone well. It would be nice if everyone would take a trip over to see the great view of Lake Michigan, along with the new floor at the Senior Center. So that job went very well. There will be one small change order that came in too late to be on the agenda, but that will be explained to you at the next meeting. I guess I have to report a little bit of vandalism. Washington Park Lifeguard Tower was vandalized. A couple of holes were bashed into the side wall. And at Walker Street Garden, we had a damaged street sign, damage to the shed, the storage shed, and damage to the seed pantry that Mr. Volz had just installed a few weeks ago. Sorry to hear that. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Questions or comments for the superintendent? Seeing none, we'll move on to the liaison reports. I'm the Planning Commission liaison, and we have not had a meeting since our last meeting here. Port Authority liaison, Mr.
The Port Authority did not have a meeting yet. Next Monday, I think, will be the last meeting they have for this year.
Thank you. And the Zoological Society, Mr. Clinton.
The Zoological Society had a meeting last night, but I was unable to attend.
Thank you. Attorney's report tonight.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Any director's reports?
Yes, I'd just like to read a note that I got in the mail today. Says the other evening, Sarah and I took a drive through the park. We were amazed at the beautiful holiday light show displays. I think it's larger than ever. It's so nice to have something as nice as this in our own city. Thank you for all you do in the Park and Rec Department. Have a great holiday. Sincerely, Dan McNabb. And many of you know Dan. He's a great guy. And he worked for the park for quite some time. So thank you, park maintenance, for being recognized.
Here to that.
And he included a nice poem from Robert Frost on the back, which I enjoyed.
Thank you for sharing that. That takes us to Department Finances. Mr. Glidden.
I have the claims docket for Michigan City Park Department for December 6, 2023. Municipal, $123,092.07. That is the total claims, and I would move that we meet the claims docket.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have the payroll for 10/29/23 through 11/11/23, pay date 11/17. Total payroll $74,059.54. And I would move that we meet the payroll.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have gifts and donations from Claudia Houston. Zoo donation, Wolf Deck Project, $150. Helen Keen Thosen, Zoo donation, Wolf Deck Project, $50. Beata Krake, Zoo donation, Wolf Deck Project, $100. Peter and Noreen Hickey, Zoo donation, Wolf Deck Project, $50. And John Rayett, Wolf Project, 100, or Wolf Deck Project, $100. I would move that we accept these generous donations.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Minor transfers, we're gonna, from the administration fund, decrease the account for printing and electrical contractual, $3,150. Increase the account for electrical, $2,000. Increase account contractual, $1,150. I would move that we make these transfers in the administration fund.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The concession fund, decrease the account charges fees. Credit card, $1,900. Decrease the account miscellaneous merchandise, Peacock, $200. Increase account delivery fee, Treehouse, $1,860. Increase the account delivery fee for Peacock, $40. Increase account small tools, $200. I would move that we make these minor transfers in the concession fund.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The golf fund, decrease the account for building materials, $3,000, increase the account for repair parts, $3,000. I'll move that we make these minor transfers in the golf fund.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Credit card charges totaling $2,018.69 for paid to corporate payment systems for the following: Tractor Supply Company, maintenance blower, $42.99. Power mower sales, maintenance for the muffler, I don't know the abbreviation, catalyst, $58.20. Sharp Tech Supply, maintenance charge port, $32.91. Missouri.com, Zoo Mini Bird Diet, Gel Diet, $193.29. Safety sign, maintenance fire, extinguisher sign, $127.98. Carhartt golf staff sweatshirts, $1,401.52. Amazon.com, Zoo Redworms vinyl tarps, $104.96. Amazon.com administrative envelope stationery stamps, $56.84. I would move that we pay these credit card charges.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right. Any comments from the public tonight as we wrap up our meeting? Comments from the public? Good evening.
Thank you for, my name is Michael Ducey. I live at 205 Warren Road in Michigan City. Thank you for allowing public comment tonight at tonight's meeting. I wondered during the year, public comment by me or any other members of the public could influence policy in local government and achieve a success. I am happy to report that perhaps because of public government and some of the newly appointed members of our board who are willing to listen, and the evidence of and the efforts by many to achieve a success. This is a copy of the October 7th, 2023 News Dispatch. Though I bought the paper to gloat over my son's championship effort at a tennis tournament, I ended up more excited by the headline, which reads, "Legal Action to Protect the Esplanade." Note on page 6, it says file photo, when in fact this was a portion of a video that I had procured from Sharon Morse of Sheridan Beach, who had filmed the outright destruction of the Esplanade on her daily walk of the beach that led to all of this action. The video, along with assorted facts of the case, was sent to Don Przybylski, who then got the council to fund the effort. I may well be here letting you next year to know that the Esplanade will be a new addition to this wonderful park department's portfolio and will be yet another fabulous treasure for our citizens and our guests for decades to come. We'll see. But that's not why I'm talking tonight. In May of 2022, my girlfriend and I took our daily walk along the beach on a Sunday morning and met several park workers who were tasked with cleaning up after a rambunctious crowd had gathered the evening before. They weren't happy, and rightly so. Large amounts of garbage and vandalism had occurred on the night before. We had heard a large crowd that had gathered on a warm May evening, not too distant from the pandemic, and we wondered, where were the police? Further inquiry went nowhere. People showed up at public comment at these hearings, and still nothing. At least not real, concrete commitments. 2 weeks later, we had a murder. Clearly, the police didn't get it. The park administration certainly did get it and voiced their proposals, including specific programs to protect the peach growers through a patrol. But leadership here remains sedentary. The past leadership remains sedentary. Even the council liaison was outright opposed to any changes in the face of increased resources made available by the 53.8% increase in the local income tax dedicated to law enforcement. It's astounding for any political neophyte like me to witness elected politicians and appointed members who wouldn't act swiftly and in accordance with their own administration's proposals and public outcry. More people showed up, neighbors to the beach, and still it was not obvious to me, mostly looking through the TV. I wrote letters, listened to meetings, and even showed up a few times. I didn't speak my piece until I was assured that nothing was really happening to change and what might happen in May of 2023. So I turned up like I have tonight. I had my facts straight. There was a new police chief. Newer members of the board heard me and acted. And tonight, I say to you, thank you. Let me give you those results. A few stats. Short-term rentals in the Washington Park, Sheridan Beach area are up 50%, 50%. Normally, more people, more calls for service by the police. Keep listening. By most accounts, park department-led events like the boat races, sandcastle contest, and the Oktoberfest, all which I attended, had ringing success. Lubiznik reported their best art fair ever. And then, a couple miles that way, we had 3.5 million visitors to our new national park. Next year, before me. It was arguably the best summer ever here in Michigan City in my 25 years. But I wanted to hear the impact that the board made following my public comments and a new board member's actions. What impact did increased law enforcement have on beach safety? Chief Walker and I participated in a dialogue. We exchanged data, and I'd like to share with you those numbers. Michigan City Police Department provided 30% more man hours at the beach than previous years. So let's do the math, simply for those here that might want to hear it. More people, more events, good weather, lots of activity, more police presence. What do you think happened? The calls for service in this area, they call it the Washington Park, Sheridan Beach, were considerably reduced. Chief Walker provided me with the complete list of calls of service in the area. Sheridan Beach, the adjoining park, Washington Park, and the adjoining areas. It was incredibly quiet, almost nothing. The calls for service specified nearly zero violence, zero vandalism, and not much of anything else. Even loud music calls were less than in the previous years. In fairness, there could have been a change in quality, like less frat boys and more families, more affluent visitors, and no relief valve from a pandemic. But still, the more police presence at the beach equals less crime, even if you have more people. My hope is that this new board will recognize that sometimes the public has a point. Sometimes the park administration is correct. The board needs to act on that information and act quickly instead of intransigence and impotence. Further, public comment is important. I don't want to be here tonight. I'm supposed to be across the street tutoring a math student who's having some trouble with her Algebra 2 at the high school. Or I could be at the LeBiznik Center, which has an open house about their situation for the coming year. I even postponed my birthday dinner. I live at the beach. It's my home. I care about it. I care about it for me, my sons, you, your families, and everybody else. If I or a neighbor show up in a meeting, it's because we want to show you something that you should be aware of, to act. Certainly, the park administration already knows it. These are the greatest employees in our local government, and they need help too. And that's where the public comes in to make sure that the board knows and gets the information that they need to make decisions. I want to thank the board and all the board members who listen and act. I want to thank our great park administration for the wonderful work you do. And I hope to see you walking across the Esplanade next summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tusi. Any other public comment? Any board comment?
Yeah, I don't think there's enough redundancy in this, but I want to congratulate Pat and his crew. I had some out-of-town guests, well, they're still here, but we drove through the park last night. I had to drive through 3 times, which I didn't mind. It's just amazing to go through there. I have no idea how many lights are there or how many displays, but after 3 times, they thought, well, one more time. So we made it 4. Pat, it's just a tremendous job, and anybody that doesn't appreciate it must be going through it with their eyes closed. So I thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Any other comments or from the board?
I just want to put a bug in everybody's ear about the parking situation at Patriot Park, that we have a plan to approach the city after the first of the year for funds for the safety at Patriot Park.
And since our last meeting, Shannon was able to find the plans that were previously drawn up, and she distributed those. So thank you for that reminder, and we should get together and have a plan of attack, for lack of better words. Any other comments, questions?
Yeah, real quick. Regarding the additional police and the amount of people down that were, monitoring the Washington Park and the Sheridan Beach area. It was stated that the council liaison, which would be me, was against any additional funding for that. That was incorrect. The question was, could we do that? And we tried to do a program where what would you say, it was 70 grand or something like that the police department was supposed to pay to the park department. How does that?
The park department was going to pay the police force to increase patrols.
And that is correct, but then that was found to be that we could.
Inappropriate was the word that was used in the meeting with the controller's office, that it would not be appropriate for a park department to pay their own police department. And
Right.
she also noted that they had enough funds in their budget to do this.
Right.
And Chief Walker agreed. So the park department did not pay for the stepped up patrols, although we greatly appreciated having a nice quiet summer in Washington Park. But yes, that's why we weren't able to use that $70,000.
Commingling of funds was pretty much what it was. And then eventually they went back and found additional dollars that were used to be able to do what we needed to do. And also, ever since we passed the labor contracts with the police and fire, there have been additional police officers that have been come on and more have been able to be put out on the beat. So that has led to the chief at the time, Chief Forker, being able to put more people down toward Washington Park. And he reported last night that we should have about 83 officers by the end of the year or so. And we're budgeted for 84. At one point back in May and all this, when we were talking about all these things, we were at about 70 or so. So we were short 14, 15 officers at the time. And that made it very difficult for him to be able to put all resources down into Washington Park. So it was not that that was left unattended or talked about to the police department, just because I didn't come up here and talk about it and put it on Facebook and post it and talk about it out in public. It's not that it didn't happen. But there are things that happen in the background as we try to do, like I said, with the money that was found to be commingling of funds that we could not do. So I just wanted to clear that up, that it was not the truth that I was against additional funding for any additional officers, but the point was, could we do that? And I knew we could not do that. So it happened another way, went another way around, and Chief Forker and the controller's office made that happen. So just wanted to clear that up. But thank you for thanking all of the others for what they've done. Some of the park department members that jumped on that, our board members that jumped on that, and we're happy that you're happy as a resident out here in Sheridan Beach, and we look forward to many more good days out here in Sheridan Beach and also in Washington Park. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Dabney, and thank you for making that clarification. I'm glad you did. Any other comments or questions? Our next meeting is December 20th, 2023, 5 p.m. right here. Do you have a motion to adjourn?
So move.